It's not going to warm up much. 81, 82 is the high. So it will rain. Because otherwise it will be 90 or 91. So I like the rain. We've got our training wheels on, training tires, Ultra Sport, and we're ready to roll. We'll get some clips for you. We're not looking for any group today. We're just going to go out and spin. If we come across people, maybe, but we'll get some clips of us out on the road.
On this ride, Paul and I left Northampton. We took Creekside Green, went out to Goslin, cut through the woodlands, Sterling Ridge, Branch Crossing, Research Forest. We got on Fish Creek, Honia Egypt Community Road. We filmed there. Went through the neighborhoods, Grand Lake Estates, Keenan Cutoff. We took that and went out to Spring Branch Road. We filmed there. By the time we got to the end of Spring Branch Road, we cut through Tri-Lakes, and then we went on a little excursion on Old 105 Road there. It dead ends, just to check it out. We'd never been there. We came back and filmed on Jackson Road, past Cairn, into Magnolia. We ended the film at 149 with Jackson Road. This is on 1488. We took that back into the city. We didn't film on 1488, but we really poured it on out there. We kept it. Hello, legends and super legends. Welcome to Veloharmony Live. I see we have Robert Tangler here, one of our longest members on the channel. We appreciate you being here. Today's stage was amazing. They went from Aert to Andorra. Let's get right into it. Andorra is a municipality that just has some awesome climbs. And it turns out that the winner of the stage actually lives in Andorra. Now, who would have thought that? The route had multiple Category 1 and Category 2 climbs. So it was a day for GC shakeup. And it didn't disappoint. You can see category to start with a kind of a non-category climb, then 1 and 2, then 1 and 1. And it ends with a descent after the final climb out there. So it was very, very interesting. Early in the race, the on-categorized climb caused a lot of attacks. So the race didn't settle down until much later. I think it was probably like 20 kilometers into it. There were just attacks, people trying to get breakaway going. You can see this Bora rider going. He got pulled back. Later in the stage, about 24 kilometers into the stage, we ended up with like 30-something riders that you see there. That's the breakaway there, not the peloton. So 30-something riders got up the road. I think about 32 riders. The guys who were going for green jersey points out of this breakaway were actually trying to get points. So a lot of riders were making sure they got in the breakaway because besides green jersey, King of the Mountain points. So Quintana, Woods, even Sepp Kuss got in there. And then what's his name? Wout Poels. He was attacking in a prior stage with Michael Woods trying to get KOM points. So he made sure he was in here to take up the attack. At this point in the stage, you can see the green jersey group is like 8 minutes, 59 seconds behind. And the green jersey is actually with a little behind the yellow jersey group, which is 8:34. So it's like 20-some seconds separating them from the front group. This always happens on these big mountain stages because the people who they allow to go up front are not usually a major threat to the yellow jersey itself. And so it benefits the yellow jersey to let the lesser placed riders dictate the race so he doesn't have to kill himself, especially Sepp Kuss. I mean, not Sepp Kuss, Pogačar. Pogačar does not have a big team when it comes to the mountain with strong climbers to really help him. Now, Sepp Kuss no longer has Primož Roglič as a leader, so he has the green light to try and do something for Jumbo-Visma. Wout Poels, Van Aert, even Movistar, Alejandro Valverde, all of them were in the breakaway. So Ineos decided to help Carapaz, make sure Carapaz does not lose any major time. They started to ride at the front. And in fact, in a little bit, even Michael Woods kept pushing. You can see the time grew. Now it's 11:48 back to the green jersey. It's like 5 or 6 something to the yellow jersey. But what ended up happening is Ineos is going to pull. There were 2 of their riders here in the breakaway. Those 2 guys were told to come back to the yellow jersey group so they could help keep the time gap down for Carapaz for the GC. Quintana attacked after those guys were pulled back. Quintana attacked because he's trying to get points for the King of the Mountain. If you remember a few stages back, he was in the KOM jersey, and then Woods got it. So they're so close. Like yesterday's stage, there were like 4 points between the top 3 guys on the KOM competition. So he's trying to see what he can get. So he launches an attack. He goes ahead and gets the KOM points on this climb. But that's about as far as he got. The boys in the back basically continued to work. Kwiatkowski and Geraint Thomas and them realized that the yellow jersey was isolated because he has no other UAE guys here to help him. So they started to force the pace. This is the yellow jersey group. Started to force the pace back to see if they could shake things up. The 2 guys they had called back now are right here waiting for them, and they're just going to slip onto the front. And basically, Ineos gets more reinforcements to try to see what they can do to shake things up to help Carapaz. But they have to be careful. They can't go too hard because they might drop their own guy. So, you know, it's kind of a touchy. It's a balance. The guy you see here is Guillaume Martin. Martin had gained a lot of time in the prior stage, and he's in second place. But on this stage, he was not going so well. So he's losing time, and he's trying his best between the mountains. This is on the descent. And he's trying his best to see if he can get back in contention because he's losing time to the yellow jersey group. And that's where Huron is sitting. If you remember, he has leapt ahead of Huron, and he got in second place. And now on this stage, he's behind Huron because he's struggling. So right here, I showed Sepp Kuss over there because he's riding with 8 other riders. They're at the front. And it's very hard. You see the gradient on the right corner, the right bottom corner, 14%. So he waited until the steepest pitch on this climb. That's when he launched his attack here. And no one went with him. Whether they couldn't, didn't matter. No one went with him. By the time Valverde realized that Sepp Kuss had gone, he started the chase, but Sepp Kuss was able to maintain it and go across the final climb. And at this point, the rest of the race, as I showed on the profile, is downhill. And Sepp Kuss is an American rider that lives in this area in Andorra. So those are the roads that he trains on. So he pretty much knew, and his goal was to make sure he didn't get caught easily. While that was going on up front, back to the yellow jersey group here, Rigoberto Urán, Carapaz, all of them started launching attacks to see if they could dislodge Pogačar. So as they're launching attacks, Pogačar just sits right next to them. Even Valverde was launching attacks. You can see Carapaz on the left, but look at Pogačar. He's right in the middle of them. They couldn't shake him. All of them tried. And basically what Carapaz did was he just rode to the front at the top, at the summit, to show them that I'm here and I have good legs. So everything they threw at him, he handled it. This is Sepp Kuss on the final descent at the head of the course. And these are the roads that he knows really well. He's being pursued by Alejandro Valverde, who is alone behind Sepp Kuss at about probably 26 seconds. That's what it shows on there. And they've got about 7 kilometers to go. So about 6, maybe 5 miles or 4 or 5 miles. So they're pretty close to the finish. Valverde did not catch him. He chased as hard as he could. And while he was doing that, Wout van Aert, who had been in between the breakaway and the yellow jersey group, He waited for the yellow jersey group to try and do more attacks to see if they could break Pogacar, because his buddy, his teammate Vendegar is on there, and he's actually high in the competition. He's in the white jersey. He's wearing the youngest rider jersey, 2 riders back. But no matter what they did, they could not dislodge him. I mean, he's got good legs, and so you can see Wout van Aert tried. That's an Ineos rider trying. Valverde and them tried. Pogacar is right behind Vendegar in the yellow jersey right there. This is the Maillot Jaune group. And so they all ended up coming in together anyway. Sepp Kuss wins the stage, which is great for this team because they lost their GC leader, Primož Roglic. So it's a good way to salvage, what was going on with the team. So that was good to see. Plus, we finally get an American rider winning a stage in the Tour. It's been a while. That's good to see. And this is Alejandro Valverde coming in. I call him the ageless Alejandro Valverde. I believe he's 40 or 41 by now, probably 40. And he's coming in second place on this mountain stage. And you see there that he came in 23 seconds behind Sepp Kuss. Wout Poels, who was competing for the King of the Mountain competition, was a minute 15 back. Izaguirre rode really well. Insanati there, 115. It was all in the same group. Then you got Quintana was there as well, Guerrero. Then we got Martin, who is the guy that lost a lot of time. If you remember, a lot of those guys, David Martin is a good rider, but the thing is that a lot of these guys, from day to day, their body's going to perform differently. So this is it shook up the general classification a little bit, basically just riders moving around. That's Vendegar there celebrating the fact that his teammate, Sepp Kuss, won the stage as the yellow jersey group came in about 4 minutes and 40-some seconds behind. So all the contenders are together in this group. That's kind of how you gauge how much of a shakeup is going to be, because the only person missing from here was Guillaume, and he lost a lot of time. That's how come he ended up falling down in the classification. So if you look at the classification, you will see Guillaume Martin is now in 9th place. He was in 2nd place ahead of Uran. So Uran is right back where he was before Martin leapfrogged him. So he's at 5:18 behind Pogacar. So nothing has really changed among the top 4 guys. O'Connor rode well on this stage, and you can see he's in 5th place. Remember Ben O'Connor? He had won a stage, moved to 2nd, then he fell. Now he's back up in 5th. So, that's what the mountain stages bring for you. So it was really good to see. The stage was very interesting. I love the mountain stages because you really get to see action, and it's clearer to understand why people are racing the way they're racing. I always talk about the race within the race. So you have to understand what they're doing. So the guys who are going for the general classification are not going to kill themselves to chase lesser trophies. So the people who are chasing the other trophies, for example, in the King of the Mountains, we've got, I believe, Wout Poels. Let's see here. I think I've got him on here. There he is. So the jersey has now moved from Woods to Poels. If you remember, the prior stage, Poels was winning a lot of the sprints, but Woods crashed and was still ahead and ended up being in the King of the Mountain jersey. He was within like 4 points of this guy. Well, on this stage, he won enough to get the jersey off of Michael Woods. And now if you look at the standings, you can see Michael Woods is in 2nd place on the King of the Mountain classification. He's got 66 points, so he's 8 points away from Wout Poels. Quintana has 64 points. Van Aert has 64 points. So if you look at those first 4 riders, they're going to be the ones going after points on the KOM, because the next guy, Bauke Mollema, has like 41. He's like 20 points, 23 points out of the way. So for the most part, he probably will just look for opportunities where he can get some points, but it's not going to be his major objective. He'll probably go after stage wins, if anything. So that's how you have to watch. So those are the guys who will be going for mountaintop sprints to get those points. And Poel's been going after it. So he's leading now, but it's still it's still close until they get, there's another week of the tour left. So that's kind of what's going on now here. So you've got the green jersey, which Cavendish has, and then you got the KOM here. The young riders jersey, the white jersey is Vingegaard. He has that. And then, of course, the yellow jersey. So those are the different classifications people go after and people pay attention to. Besides just GC, what is my objective from stage to stage? So I wanted to explain that. I hope you all had a good Sunday. And until tomorrow, I believe tomorrow is a rest day. I am not 100% sure. I'll have to check, but I believe that usually they take a rest day the Monday after a heavy weekend. And I think that tomorrow may be a rest day. So you guys be safe out there while you get your Ks in. And we will get together on Wednesday here on this channel at 17:30. We'll have our long session for just Let's Talk Cycling. So yes, Dwayne confirms that rest day tomorrow. So be safe out there and take care and get your Ks in no matter what happens.